Don't call me hero. Blurb. A year has passed since Riley Johnson left the United States Air Force, yet her restless nights are still haunted by the echoes of her past. After 8 intense years away serving her country, saying goodbye to the military is proving harder than she anticipated. The war may be over, but the emotions are just beginning to surface. In search of a fresh start and healing, Riley relocates from San Diego to Ashby, Minnesota, where she has been offered a position as a police officer. Here, in this cozy lakeside town, she encounters Mara Jensen, the local attorney known for her formidable presence and unwavering professionalism. There's a history between them that Riley would rather keep buried, but Mara won't let her forget so easily. Despite their apparent differences, both women grapple with their pasts and the burdens they carry. Sometimes it takes a person as wounded as yourself to help confront the skeletons lurking in the closet. Excerpt. The night was young, the club pulsing with music and laughter as Riley signaled the bartender for another round. She clutched her whiskey glass, the amber liquid a temporary balm for her incessant thoughts. Tonight marked her farewell to San Diego, and she intended to make it memorable. "Hey there, you look like you could use a friend," a voice chimed in beside her. Riley turned to see a striking woman with wavy auburn hair and piercing green eyes. She wore a fitted denim jacket over a white tank top, exuding effortless charm. "I'm fine, thanks," Riley replied a bit too quickly, not wanting to reveal her vulnerabilities to a stranger. "No one ever comes to a bar just to be alone," the woman countered, her lips curving into a playful smirk. "I'm Mara, by the way." "And you are?" "Riley," she said cautiously. "Just enjoying my last night in town." Mara raised an eyebrow. "Planning to leave San Diego behind?" "That's not easy for anyone." Riley chuckled, feeling a flicker of connection. "I guess I'm just ready for a change of scenery." "I get that. Fresh starts can be exhilarating," Mara replied, her voice warm and inviting. Riley felt a wave of nerves. Was that warmth directed at her? "So, what brings you here tonight?" "Just meeting friends." "Want to join us?" Riley hesitated but was drawn in by Mara's confidence. "Sure, why not?" As they moved toward a more crowded table, Riley noticed the way Mara's presence lit up the room. She was magnetic, her laughter echoing above the music, wrapping around Riley like a comforting blanket. "So what do you do, Riley?" Mara asked, over the sound of glasses clinking. "I was in the Air Force," Riley admitted, surprised at how easily the words slipped out. Mara's interest intensified, her eyes narrowing slightly. "That's impressive. Thank you for your service." "Thanks, but honestly, it comes with some residual baggage," Riley confessed, surprised at her own candor. "Yeah. Everyone has baggage, right?" Mara's smile was softening, and Riley felt her defenses wavering. The rest of the night passed in a blur of laughter, shared stories, and an undeniable connection. With each drink, the walls Riley had built around her heart began to crack. "So, do you think you'll find what you're looking for in Ashby?" Mara asked quietly, their knees brushing against each other. Riley shrugged, glancing down at the half-empty glass before raising her gaze to meet Mara's. "I hope so. It's kind of daunting to start fresh, you know." "I do," Mara agreed, leaning in closer. "But you're strong, Riley. I can see it in the way you hold yourself." Before she knew it, Riley was entranced, words tumbling from her lips with uncharacteristic ease. "I'd love to believe that." Mara smiled knowingly, her gaze intense. "What's the worst that can happen? You make mistakes and you learn from them." "I'm good at making mistakes, trust me," Riley laughed, but her heart raced at the underlying truth of her words. "Then maybe you can start with a good one," Mara suggested. "How about embracing a little spontaneity?" Riley met her gaze and a spark ignited between them, undeniable and electric. "I'm intrigued." Mara grinned, leaning closer as the atmosphere shifted. "Let's see where the night takes us." And with that, Riley's apprehension faded, replaced by reckless curiosity. For the first time in a long while, she felt alive, ready to dive into whatever the night had in store. As they continued talking, the past began to fade away, allowing Riley to revel in this moment, free from nightmares if only for a little while. Maybe she didn't need to call herself a hero. Maybe taking a chance on Mara was just the kind of bravery she needed right now. As the night unfurled like a well-planned dance, Riley and Mara leaned into each other, laughter blending with the steady pulse of music around them. The bar atmosphere was intoxicating, but it was Mara's presence that truly captivated Riley. "So, what's your story?" Mara asked, adjusting her stance slightly, inviting Riley to share more of herself. Riley hesitated, her thoughts drifting to the weight of her past. "There's not much to tell. I guess you could say I've been running. Running from what I've done. The things I saw." Mara's expression softened, her curiosity replaced by genuine concern. "You're not alone, you know. Everyone struggles with their past in their own way. You served your country. That counts for something." Riley appreciated the sentiment, but felt the familiar sting of vulnerability creeping in. "It's more than that. There are memories that don't just fade. Some nights, I still hear the gunfire. It's hard, especially knowing I did things that haunt me." Mara's eyes never wavered, and Riley felt like she was under a spotlight. "I get it. I came from a complicated background, too. My dad was a cop, always busy with the job, never home. I chose law because I wanted to help people, that's what he did, even if it was in his own way." Riley nodded, sensing the weight of Mara's words. "It sounds like you've carried your share of burdens." "I have," Mara admitted, taking a sip from her drink. "But I learned that we can't let them define us. We have to find ways to confront our demons, or they'll own us." Her directness caught Riley off guard. "And how do you do that?" Mara smiled, an enigmatic glint in her eye. "By recognizing that vulnerability is strength. Embracing who we are, even the broken bits, can bring us together." Riley held Mara's gaze, feeling a connection even deeper than before. "You make it sound easy." "Nothing worthwhile ever is," Mara replied softly, leaning closer. The dim light in the bar danced in her eyes, revealing the depths of her character, a force of nature. "But with the right person beside you, it can help ease the burden." "Do you believe in second chances?" Riley asked, feeling bold. Mara paused, her expression thoughtful. "I do. Life is all about second chances. It's like seeing things anew, even if the scars remain. You never know what lies on the other side until you take that leap." With those words, Mara reached for Riley's hand, her touch sending an electric thrill through Riley's skin. There was something undeniably magnetic about the way Mara's fingers wove through hers, anchoring Riley in this moment of shared honesty. "Let's take a leap then," Riley suggested, her heart pounding as adrenaline coursed through her veins. "What if we get out of here?" "Where to?" Mara's smile widened, her eyes twinkling with mischief. "I don't know," Riley replied, laughter bubbling up. "Can we just drive and see where the night takes us?" Mara leaned in closer, their foreheads almost touching, her breath a warm whisper against Riley's skin. "I like that idea. Just drive." The two women left the bar, laughter echoing behind them as they stepped into the cool night air, the moon casting silvery shadows around them. A sense of reckless freedom washed over Riley as they walked to Mara's car parked nearby, a sleek, black sedan that looked ready for adventure. Once inside, Mara cranked the music up, and they sped off down the winding roads of Minneapolis, laughter spilling out of the windows and into the night. With every turn, Riley felt her burdens lighten as fresh wind blew through her hair. "Where are we going?" Riley asked, breathless with excitement. "Anywhere but here," Mara replied, glancing at Riley with a mischievous grin that set her heart racing. As they drove through the city, they stumbled upon a quiet lakeside area. The serene water shimmered under the moonlight, reflecting a world that suddenly seemed full of possibility. Mara parked the car and they both stepped out, the sounds of nature enveloping them. Standing by the water's edge, Mara turned, her gaze steady on Riley. It's peaceful here, she said softly. A moment to breathe. Riley nodded, feeling the cool breeze against her skin. It's beautiful. As they shared a moment of silence, allowing the world to fade away, Mara stepped closer, her warmth radiating against Riley's chill. So tell me, why did you join the Air Force? The question brought forth a swarm of memories, tangled with pride and heartbreak. I wanted to serve, Riley started. I thought I could make a difference. And when I was in, I felt valued, part of something bigger. But it came at a cost, Mara said, her voice gentle. Yeah, it did, Riley replied, her heart heavy. Sometimes it feels like I'm carrying the weight of every choice I made. It's suffocating. Mara reached for Riley's hand again, this time holding it tightly. You're not alone in that. I mean it. I've been there. We all face our battles. Under the moonlight, their connection deepened. Riley could feel the warmth from Mara's fingers, grounding her amidst chaos. In that moment, she felt seen, a rarity in her life. Mara, I know we just met, but I feel, Riley hesitated, searching for words that could convey the gravity of what she felt. There's something between us that's hard to ignore. Mara's gaze searched Riley's, her breath hitching slightly. I feel it too. But let's not rush this. We need to be mindful of our pasts, what we've been through. It matters. I agree, Riley said, relief washing over her. I don't want to pretend this is easy, but I think it's worth exploring. With their eyes locked, Mara stepped even closer. Let's take it slow, piece by piece. We'll be each other's support. I promise. Promise. Riley repeated, a sense of hope bubbling in her chest. Promise, Mara affirmed, her expression earnest. With the moon shining down on them, the worries of the world faded into the background, leaving only the spark between them. Do you want to go for a walk along the lake? Mara suggested, breaking the comfortable tension. I'd love that, Riley replied, and together they wandered, sharing stories of their pasts. Her haunted dreams, Mara's familial pressures, moments that shaped them, the darkness and the light. As they walked under the stars, Riley felt something shifting within her. The burdens of her past began to loosen their grip, replaced by the laughter and shared hopes growing between them. For the first time, she started to believe that perhaps healing wasn't just a solitary journey. And as Mara's laughter echoed into the stillness of the night, Riley couldn't help but think that this was the start of something beautiful, something brave. Two women seeking solace in each other amidst chaos, maybe this was indeed a leap worth taking. As they strolled along the moonlit lake, the sound of water lapping against the shoreline created a calming symphony that wrapped around them. Riley's heart raced with excitement, each quiet moment shared with Mara deepening their connection. So what's your favorite way to unwind? Riley asked, breaking the peaceful silence. Mara pondered for a moment before responding. I love painting. It's an escape for me. When I'm in front of a canvas, I can express everything I can't put into words. Really? I'd love to see your work sometime, Riley replied, intrigued. I've never really tried painting, but I've always admired it from afar. It must be a powerful release. It is, Mara nodded, her enthusiasm evident. It helps me process everything, my emotions, experiences, it's like therapy. Riley smiled, thrilled by the glimpse of Mara's passion. Maybe we could paint together sometime, learn from each other. I could use some artistic guidance. Mara's eyes twinkled. Absolutely. I'd be honored to share my brushes with you. Riley felt an ache of warmth spread through her. There was something charming about the way they had found common ground in their individual struggles. Maybe this connection could lead them to healing, together. As the night deepened, they found a grassy knoll overlooking the lake. They sat together, gazing at the stars and the gentle reflections dancing across the water's surface. Riley took a breath, allowing herself to get lost in the tranquility of the moment. Would you ever want to go back to the military? Mara asked quietly, breaking the comfortable spell. Riley thought for a moment, her brows furrowed slightly. I don't think so. I've learned too much about myself since leaving. It's forced me to confront the parts of me I tucked away. Being in combat was one thing, but living without the uniform, honestly, it's been an entirely different battlefield. Mara nodded, understanding in her gaze. Sometimes fighting yourself is the hardest battle. But you seem so resilient, Riley. I'm learning, Riley replied, her voice steady. It's just difficult to accept that some scars might never fade. Scars can tell a story too, Mara said softly, her fervent belief shining through her words. They can remind you of your strength every time you look at them. Riley felt something shift within her, the way Mara framed her struggle illuminating a path forward. You're right. Each scar is a testament to survival. I want to remember that. Mara turned toward Riley, her expression suddenly serious, sincerity etched in her features. You don't have to bear those memories alone. I'm here, Riley. I'll always be here. In that moment, the air hung heavy with unspoken promises, and a flicker of hope ignited within Riley, a longing for something beyond mere survival. Can I ask you a question? Riley said hesitantly. Of course. Anything. What are we doing here? She looked at Mara intently. I mean, I feel this connection, but part of me worries it's just a momentary distraction from our pasts. I don't want to lead you on. Mara took a moment to consider Riley's words, her gaze unwavering. I don't think it's a distraction. We're here because we need each other, two souls finding solace in an unexpected friendship. It might just be a beginning. I want it to be a beginning, Riley confessed, her pulse racing at the vulnerability of her admission. I want to explore whatever this is between us. I need the connection, it feels real. It is real, Mara replied, her smile reassuring. We can take our time. No rush. Let's just be together, wherever that may lead. Riley's heart swelled with gratitude and possibility. Thank you for understanding and being patient with me. Thank you for trusting me, Mara whispered back, her voice low and soothing. As the sky shimmered with stars, Riley felt a sense of hope blossoming, hope for their future, hope for healing, and hope for a love that could bridge the chasms in their pasts. Days turned into weeks, and their connection deepened as they painted mornings and shared laughter during evening walks. Each moment felt like a stroke of color on a canvas, gradually revealing a beautiful portrait of companionship. They saw each other not just in their joys but also in their vulnerabilities, lifting one another through the shadows. Riley learned to face her demons, sharing stories from her past, and Mara embraced the complexity of her own through art, using it to express forgotten emotions. They became each other's unwavering support, creating a bond neither had expected. One warm evening, as the sun began to set in hues of orange and pink, Riley and Mara sat on the porch of Mara's house, 2 glasses of wine in hand. I don't think I've ever been this happy, Riley said, savoring the moment. Mara turned to her with a radiant smile. You deserve happiness, Riley. We both do. Suddenly, Mara grew serious. There's something I want to say. About us. Riley's heart raced, the air thick with anticipation. What is it? I care about you. More than I thought possible, Mara admitted, vulnerability lacing her words. I feel like we're building something special, and I don't want to ruin it by rushing in. I just want to be honest about my feelings. Riley felt a rush of warmth flood her heart. You don't have to worry about rushing. I feel the same way. I've never connected with anyone like this before. Then let's embrace it, Mara said gently, her eyes shining. Let's allow this to grow in its own time, and wherever it leads, we'll face it together. In that moment, Riley leaned over and kissed Mara softly, the warmth of their lips igniting a fire inside her. It was easy, like it had always been meant to be. As they pulled back, Mara smiled, a beautiful blush creeping across her cheeks. I think we're going to be just fine. Yeah? Riley teased, feeling giddy. Absolutely, Mara replied, her laughter mingling with the air of the evening. Together they raised their glasses, capturing the sentiment beneath the setting sun, a celebration of new beginnings, the promise of love, and the beauty of healing. Through the trials they faced, both past and present, Riley and Mara painted a future together, one brushstroke at a time, united against whatever challenges lay ahead. They had transformed their individual scars into a shared journey, discovering that love was not just a sanctuary, but also a canvas for growth and healing. And as they watched the last rays of sunlight dip below the horizon, hand in hand, they felt ready to embrace all that was to come, two souls intertwined, boldly stepping into their tomorrow.